we go!
Welcome to Close Combat. I'm Sergeant First Class Randy Randolph. Coming up, we'll have all the heavyweight action in the Army Championship Combatives Tournament. But first, a closer look at the modern Army Combatives program, which has evolved dramatically since the early days of hand-to-hand combat training in World War II. Training takes place Army-wide in gyms like this. Now more than ever before, Combatives is relevant to the battlefield and helps save soldiers and civilians' lives.
We can't go around killing everybody, and we could just use these techniques that we learn here to control the person and still feel confident that we have control over the situation without having to resort to deadly force.
We teach boxing, kickboxing, judo, wrestling, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all in one system in a matter of 4 weeks. Give them drills that they're able to continue training after they leave here and pass that on to their soldiers.
So as they're learning to choke people, do takedowns, whatnot, they're also learning how it plays out with a rifle, or how it plays out with a knife or the pistol on you, or how do you know if the opponent is armed? Because imagine, you get in a fight with somebody, how do you know if they have a pocket knife on them? Well, you don't. So that means you have to fight everybody as if they might.
The situations that I did come in contact, I didn't have the combative training, and I struggled a lot more to control those people because I didn't know the techniques that I've learned in level 1 and 2 so far that really show you how to control somebody. You know, they can do the 2-on-1 drill where you got a 2-man take down a person and, you know, and then eliminate the threat from that person, which is, I think, one of the best techniques that I've learned so far for a combat scenario.
We want them to break through them barriers so they can find the confidence in themselves, you know, that warrior ethos, you know, the defining characteristic of a warrior is the willingness to close with the enemy, and that's the big thing about combatives is, you know, the same thing it takes to get into a fight and fight someone is the same kind of stuff that it takes to engage the enemy on the battlefield.
You're in a firefight, you go black, you have no ammo left, you know, and the enemy's right there on you. You end up having hand-to-hand, or you're clearing rooms, you know, tight-knit quarters. Depending on your rules of engagement, you know, you're not able to fire your weapons, so you've got your enemy combatant right there on you. You got to take them down hand-to-hand.
Because everybody has to be ready to fight. Everybody's a soldier first, regardless of MOS or duty position. Your first priority is a soldier, and you never know when you're going to need that.
When you take it down to the soldier level, they have to be confident that they can handle themselves. In all situations, we want them generally to step forward and say, I'm here to help.
Every soldier is going to be in a situation where they're going to be in or around an enemy or in enemy territory. But regardless of what your job is in Iraq or Afghanistan, you're in enemy territory. So you need to be prepared for that.
Soldiers train in basic and tactical combatives at the unit level. Their instructors are trained and certified at Fort Benning's Combative School. We caught up with some of the future instructors in the early weeks of the course.
The course has been pretty physically tough. I mean, it's only Thursday right now, and I'm pretty beat up. Got knots all on my back and popping ibuprofen at night and stuff, but it's really worth it.
It builds up your confidence. You know, some of the drills that we do, you'll take a punch to the face, let you know that you can fight through it.
I would say there's a lot of team building, especially in the class. I mean, especially you get to talk to people from different MOSs and learn why they want to do combatives, and you just kind of get into it.
You know, this is kind of one of those fun, esprit de corps building, you know, physically demanding kind of courses that will keep kids coming back.
But right now, AFN Europe doesn't have a program, so I want to get something together so I can train all the soldiers, sailors, and airmen that we have. You know, we have something like 50 people that can benefit from this training.
I had privates that would show up, and they've never been in a fight in their life. They're 135 pounds of, you know, timidness. So, you know, I want to do my part to try to prepare them to go into a hostile combat environment.
But for the most part, it's definitely very good for a soldier, airman, or anybody like that to know how to defend themselves. Because if they're alone, if their ammo runs out, there's lots of different scenarios where they would need to know how to defend themselves.
What does it kill me only will make me stronger in my head.
It actually raised my confidence a lot because I was intimidated by a lot of the guys, especially this class. I'm the only female, and I was like, oh. This is going to be a tough month. It's just not a lot of females do combatives, and then just getting used to throwing around guys, and it's more like showing the guys that females can do combatives also.
Later in the show, we'll check back with the instructors in training to see how they did at the end of the course. Up next,
see Army combatives training at work in the heavyweight finals.
Plus, a closer look at female fighters and their secret to defeating their male opponents in the ring. Coming up on Close Combat.
The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over drill 1, which consists of 3 different moves. It covers the arm push and roll, where the man on the bottom is trying to improve his position, and he will trap his opponent's arm and his leg and roll him into what is considered the guard position. Now his opponent has him in the guard. Now the next move is he's going to try to escape the guard and go to side control. Here he's in side control, and his next move will be to achieve the mount. And after he's done that, you'll see that he's gone from the man on the bottom to the man on the top. He's improved his position each time, and now he's in a position to win the fight or finish the fight. Level 1, again, is all about improving their position. So we'll go off of the same thing that we talked about in the first drill, off of the arm trap and roll. So the opponent on the bottom, he tries to do the arm trap and roll based on what the opponent on top is doing, but the opponent on top sees it coming. So as he does that, he creates space, and this gives the man on the bottom the ability to move out. And what he's done is he has shrimped through that space into the guard. Now he's going to go from the guard, and he can finish the fight in 3 ways. All right, he can either apply a choke here, apply an arm bar, or sweep to the mount. In each position, he's either finished the fight or he's improved his position to a place where he can finish the fight. The other things that we cover in week 1 of the basic instructor course is boxing. So what we'll have now is we'll have demonstrators put on the gloves and the pads, and we'll go through some of the things that we teach in boxing. Okay, in boxing we teach them 4 basic punches, and we put those punches in combinations, kind of like drills. All right, we begin by teaching them the jab. And we teach them the cross, the hook, and the uppercut. And we put these in combinations. We have combinations 1 through 5. All right, combo 1. Combo 2. Combo 3. Combo 4. Combo 5. These become drills that they can continually train on and continually practice, not just here in the gym, but wherever they're at.
Welcome back to Close Combat. The Marine Corps has its own combatives training. MCMAP, or Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, traces its roots back to the trench fighting of World War I. It's come a long way.
MCMAP is a whole Marine program. It's not singularly focused on the fighting aspects of martial arts. Rather, the focus is on emphasizing the complete development of Marine.
The next thing we got is controlling techniques. From day one, when the Marines come in, they essentially start from the basics, going over the tan belt, gray belt fundamentals. Essentially, from there, we're going to teaching them different techniques. This is week 2 of a 3-week course.
We showed up at 06:30 this morning, which today consists of doing the obstacle course, 3 rounds in less than 30 minutes.
There's no competition, losing squad ends up with the log. Because everybody knows a competition, people usually work a little bit harder. Next go around, and everybody's fighting and pushing harder, because they don't want the log.
The physical discipline is the training and the honing of our martial skills, our combative skills, along with the combat conditioning that's essential.
Pretty intense right when you start off, and then more involvement with this week is actually body sparring.
We're going to teaching them different techniques. Shoulder throw, hip throw, counter to the knife. Just different techniques you can use downrange that you don't get day-to-day basic training.
Through the Marine Corps Martial Arts program, we're seeing Marines that are physically and mentally fit, they're physically and mentally tough, they're able to handle the challenges of today's modern battlefield, and they're doing it in superb fashion.
This whole course is pretty demanding, but as long as you got the mindset that you're going to complete it and do what is asked of you, you should get through it. It's pretty painful, but pain is just weakness leaving the body. So.
Each year, the Army Combatives Competition is held at the Paul R. Smith Gym. The facility is named for the 2005 Medal of Honor recipient who was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, the home of modern Army combatives.
Paul R. Smith was an engineer, platoon sergeant in 3rd Infantry Division. And during the battle for Baghdad at the airfield, his platoon was attacked by a superior force of Iraqi insurgents.
I ran back to the area where Sergeant Smith was, and he was firing his 50 cal, so I yelled to him to come out of there. But there was a large force out there, and he wasn't about to leave his position. He kind of gave me a cutthroat that he's not going to come down.
Every time it was more linked, he just told me to get back down the driver's hatch and keep my head down. You could hear rounds tinking off the front of the track and stuff. And that's when he took the shot.
I seen the enemy force out there, and there's no doubt in my mind if he hadn't stayed on that 50 cal, they would have came through our position.
And as they fought to hold that piece of ground, they received withering fire. He moved up in unprotected into M113 and manned the machine gun and saved the lives of his soldiers as he fought. And and repelled the enemy attack.
And in retrospect, sitting back thinking about when he left, I think he knew that he would meet his destiny in Iraq.
To have the best gymnasium facility that I've ever seen named for a non-commissioned officer who gave his life for his country and for his own, right down to the essence, his own men, and a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, it's the right thing, and he was a warrior. And to have the Combatives tournament here also shows our young men and women that they're a part of something bigger than just themselves also, as was Paul R. Smith.
Up next, a closer look at how competition improves technique on the battlefield. Plus, more light heavyweight action in the Army Championship Combatives tournament. Stick around.
Week 2, we introduce Muay Thai boxing. All right. When we do that, we'll teach them kicks from the rear leg, which we call a 10. And then we teach them kicks from the front leg, which is a switch 9 or a step 9. And we'll go ahead and add these kicks into our combos that we've already taught them. Go ahead, combo 1.
We've seen the practical combat applications of combatives. The program requires intense training, and soldiers stay motivated by fighting each other. Here's a look at how these techniques are tested in competition.
The competition, I think it's great because it drives people to get better. I trained up for the competition and I was running 6 miles, a day just to up my fitness. So for the competition, I wouldn't be winded and stuff like that. I mean, it was a great motivator for me, not only to improve my physical fitness, but also to learn more techniques and try to become better at the combative side.
Competition is important because it gives the guys a reason to train.
Bring your elbow up, hook, bring it back, drop.
If you just give a guy a set of techniques, and say, all right, this is in combatives, but you never give him a reason to train it, he's never going to do it. It's just going to be these techniques, and they're just going to kind of go away. And that's kind of what's happened in the past with the combatives programs before, is there was no reason that the soldier, he got a little bit in basic training, and then he never did it again, because there was nothing put in place for him to keep training. So now we give them guys a reason to train. Competition instills the warrior ethos. It allows them to be champions, and it builds the unit's esprit de corps and pride in their unit.
The competitions are gender neutral, but the physiology of males and females is different, so there has to be an allowance made to make it fair. And imagine that a female of a given body weight carries less muscle for her body mass than a man of the same body weight.
I did compete a couple weeks ago. It was my first competition, and I just only knew level 1 techniques. That was it. But I just went in there and did what I basically knew, and I did pretty good.
So what we do, and this is based on the PT-FM, we give an allowance, a weight allowance for females, so that it's really a fight between a certain amount of muscle rather than for just aggregate body weight. But that's the goal, so that at the end of the day, a soldier's a soldier. Still got that name tape and that U.S. Army, and that's what matters. Whenever you're going through the door, nobody's checking who's male and who's female. It's time to fight.